and welcome to another edition of One Big Thing, a KAC legislative update. This week's big thing is first adjournment and where we're headed from here. So obviously the legislature wrapped up late last night, or early this morning more accurately, and they are now on a approximately 3-week break until they come back for the veto session. The rumor around the Dome has been that the veto session will only last maybe as short as 3 or 4 days. So we don't expect that there will be a lot of activity when the legislature returns at the end of the month. What that means, though, is that you need to be in contact with your legislators about how the legislation that they have passed impacts your county. You need to be very specific with them when they're talking about things like property taxes, sales taxes, or government competition, about how that affects your county specifically. They need to hear that from you. If you have numbers, even better. If you can share with them the fiscal impact of how that would impact you, if you could share with them how that impacts your community, how that impacts members of your community, that would be even more important. If you can share with them the types of individuals that come to utilize those services and why those services are important to your community, that's critically important to make sure they understand why you provide the services that you provide within your county and how those services benefit the community at large. It's very important that you have these conversations with your legislative delegation over the next couple of weeks so that they have that understanding when they return at the end of the month. Remember, at the end of the month, they will likely be looking at several more bills, and they may even be dealing with some veto overrides. So as much information as you can provide them as to how certain bills would affect your county, that could be the difference between them voting yes or no on legislation both now and in the future. Keep that in mind as you're talking to them, and make sure that you keep that dialogue open with your legislative delegation as you move towards the end of the month. If you have questions about any of the legislation that has passed here over the last couple of weeks, feel free to reach out to KAC. We're always happy to answer those questions. We're going to take a break from One Big Thing for the next couple of weeks, but we will return when veto session arrives. That's all for now, but I look forward to talking to you in about 3 weeks.